Okay, year 12, hello, welcome back. First lesson, the market mix, and we're going to look at product. So we'll start off by looking at one product that everyone knows throughout the world over, Coca-Cola. Is it the best known product and brand name in the world? Pause the video and jot down some reasons why you think that might be, or rather why I think that might be. So, some of the reasons you might have come up with. Is it the iconic logo? Is it the colour, that distinctive red? If I had a picture of a bottle on the screen, is it the classic bottle design? Is it the advertising campaigns that we are used to seeing at Christmas? Um, or is it a mixture of all of them? All of those make Coca-Cola a distinctive, instantly recognisable brand to many consumers the world over. Even in the 1980s, when the cola wars were at their height, Coke conducted a number of blind taste tests because they could see Pepsi's sales increasing. Um, at the time, the consumers involved said that they actually preferred this new recipe that Coke had put out in the blind taste tests. But when the new Coke was actually launched, the Coca-Cola faced a consumer backlash. Um, so even though they preferred the taste, in theory, in these blind tests, when it was launched, because the classic recipe had been altered, um, that didn't go down too well. Just proving that the values and the attachments and the psychological aspects of what was classically involved with the Coke product in itself were actually really key to the success of the core product. So, products at the heart of marketing. Why do we buy products? Well, we buy them to satisfy our wants and needs. They might be physical wants, they might be psychological wants and needs. Okay. Ultimately, the aim of the marketer when they are putting together and trying to market a product is that they want us to make it. We want that product to make our lives easier. Okay. Um, I'm using product here in a general sense to encompass both product and services. So we're thinking about products that can be tangible, physical goods, and intangible, such as services. Just to enhance your vocab when you're writing a little bit, um, rather than just referring to product in itself, let's try and split them up into consumer goods. So they might be shopping goods or non-durables. So things that aren't going to last, frosties, milk, something like that. Durables, computers, washing machines. Some of these goods might be rather fast-moving consumer goods, and there might be fast-moving consumer durables, such as iPhones, or where the product design changes year in year out. Um, Note the link on FT for Schools on the new Apple iPhone SE, the article that I posted last week. That's a good one to look at. And also, if we're thinking about B2B, business to business marketing, we can look at industrial goods and capital goods, goods that are used to make other goods. Okay, this is going a little bit beyond what you need, and this is from a university textbook, Principles of Marketing by Brassing and Pettit. We can look at a product in a number of layers. The core product being, at its simplest, what is the product itself? Okay, um, so you might have a cup um, for drinking tea, coffee, hot chocolate, whatever, and in its simplest product, in its simplest offering, the core product is a simple cup. Now, as we add on different layers to the product, okay, this is when the marketer's job starts to um, come in really important. So the tangible product is essentially the way the marketer adds flesh to the bones, so to speak. Okay, so um, simple storage container here. Okay, it's the tangible product being customized in terms of one of the London Underground line designs. Okay, so really that's about what makes this product different to other products out there. So what makes that tub that I showed you before different to a standard Tupperware tub? The augmented product, that's essentially all the different add-on extras that a retailer might sell. So let's say you buy a new computer from Currys, they might add on an extended warranty, they might offer sort of free cloud storage or something like that for a year. It's essentially packaging the product up to try and persuade us to buy it. And again, it's a differentiation technique. It might also include, training, different various types of after sales service. And the potential product really refers to what could you do with that product in the future. Okay, um, so some parts of a product, some parts of a potential product won't have actually been thought about. Um, Maybe a good way to think about this in terms of context, and contextualize it with an example, might be PlayStation 4. Well, with the PlayStation 4, when it was first developed, who'd have known that you'd have been able to buy those virtual reality glasses and then and then use the PlayStation 4 to actually play games in virtual reality mode. Um, so that's like the potential, what the actual product has in the future. So we need to have an understanding of um, different ways that firms and marketers come up with their product decisions. Um, I'd like you to look on Google Classroom. There's a short article called The Product Decision, and there are four main sources of product ideas that outlines. Read them through, make some notes, and you're looking for four, and for each of them, try to use an example. So one of them that you can see to the right there is Me Too or copycat products. So we've got Aussie Aussie shampoo here. This costs about £4 a bottle in Boots, I think. And then you can see the Lidl alternative, the Lidl copycat product, Sian Mega Moisture Shampoo. Again, if you can see with Australian macadamia nut oil and aloe vera, and similarly on the actual original branded one as well. Okay, so that should take you about 10 minutes to make those notes. Okay, whatever the product, product design is central to its success, and one of the things that we can look at now is what emphasis is placed upon product design. And the model that we're going to do to look at this is called the design mix or value analysis. And some of you have come across this before. It's essentially the key features that need to be considered when designing a product. And we've got aesthetics, what does it look like, function and quality, and economic manufacture, and otherwise known as cost, that final one there. Okay, certain firms, depending upon their target market, will place a greater emphasis on a certain area of the design mix than others. So, again, pause the video here. On Google Classroom, there's a link to a textbook, right, page 44 or 45 of that textbook. Or again, in the product article, make a note of the mix and jot down notes on each section of the mix in terms of what they mean. Okay, hopefully you managed to make those notes. Here's our design mix back again. Two goods here, designer high heel shoes and BMW car. Right, pause the video and place each of those on a certain area of the design mix and see if you can justify your thinking. Okay, so designer high heel shoes, let's just go for that one. It's most likely going to be towards this end of aesthetics, isn't it? It's probably going to be quite a competitive market. There are going to be a number of different substitutes available for consumers to buy. So one of the ways that a designer of high-heeled shoes might attract customers is to make them stand out and look a certain way. However, one could argue that function and quality are of the utmost importance too, because you wouldn't want to put a high-heeled shoe on and start to walk wherever you're going, and for the thing to break. Okay, so you might argue that it's towards this end of the design mix too, in terms of focusing on function and quality. Okay, what you'll see is some examples will be really obvious where they're fitting. Others will be more won't be at a particular extreme and might be a combination of both. It's also important to note that the product design process isn't static. Okay, it's influenced by the external environment, so product design in itself changes. We've got the need for waste minimization, the need for sustainability. All of those external environmental factors play a part in the product design process, and firms have to adapt their product portfolios, i.e. the range of products that they produce, to account for those changes. So here's an example. Electric vehicles. So by the end of this year, Ford should have a fleet of 14 electrified vehicles. Okay, so look at the tagline there: "Bring on tomorrow." They're clearly designing in mind for sustainability and jumping on board with this trend that the car market currently has of electrifying their stock, electrifying their product portfolio. Okay. So this idea of designing for waste minimization, designing for reuse, has been really important and a key feature of how products are developing, particularly within the car industry. Here's another example that some of you may be familiar with in a recent article from The Grocer. Arla, that are a dairy cooperative, have made the move into plant-based food production. Why have they done that? Well, again, they're showing that they're able to adapt to changing social trends, and how they're doing this to they're developing an oat-based drink. So it's a complete contrast with actually what their core business offering is, i.e., their dairy. Using produce from animals is absolutely essential to their core offering, but in order for them to not be left behind, they're adapting to social trends and they're jumping on the plant-based bandwagon. So what might be a good idea for you to do here? Pause the video and see if you can look out for any of your own examples. Make a couple of notes. Have we seen any businesses change direction, bringing out new products to adapt to changing social trends? So I mentioned this word earlier, product portfolios. This refers to the number and the mix of products that are sold by a particular business. When we're thinking about product portfolios, we are going to do an exercise in another lesson that looks at analysing a firm product portfolio in terms of the success of those products. But before we do that, when we're thinking about the products that a business produces, it's important to consider the breadth and the depth of those product portfolios. So if we're referring to breadth of products, what we mean is that's the number of different product lines that a business produces. So here's a relatively simple, straightforward example: the Coca-Cola Company. We've got Coca-Cola in this column. Classic Coke, Coke Zero, Diet Coke, Mango Coke. The list could have gone on. Okay, and we've got Powerade. Okay, Ion 4, 0-calorie Powerade. So what we've got across the top here is the breadth of the product portfolio, and down the side we've got the depth of the product line. Okay, so number of different products in the portfolio, and themselves have all got different lines of products that go with them. So again, third task, again, just a little note maker task, but it's going to get us ready for a more significant one next week. Pick a firm of your own choosing. Coke could be a good example, but you've seen one of mine there. Unilever, Procter and Gamble, any of those, even a supermarket really. But you might get it could be a little bit dangerous to get a little bit too caught up by looking at the number of different products in a supermarket. All I'd like you to do, get a bit of paper, conduct a portfolio analysis, look at the depth and breadth of lines. So once you've got those written down in terms of how many products that they sell and how deep the product lines are, locate your Educast book, and within there, look at the product chapter of the book and explain, using the example of the firm that you've picked, what are the advantages to your firm of having the product portfolio that they do. So in other words, why is it as it is? Why is it advantageous to them? And you might pick up on some ideas such as economies of scale, opportunities for growth, reduction of risk and diversification, things like that. So as you're conducting that analysis, think, why is this shaped like it is? Why is that advantageous to my firm in question? Thank you very much.